Hello everyone, and welcome to Abyss Archives. Today we embark on a deep dive into the ancient and enigmatic story of Leviathans. These colossal sea creatures have haunted human imagination for centuries, their legends woven through myth, scripture, and folklore across cultures. While the name Leviathan is most famously associated with the Hebrew Bible, it is merely one chapter in a broader tapestry of sea serpents and oceanic beasts that symbolize chaos, power, and the unknown. To understand Leviathans, we must first look to the oldest texts where these creatures appear. In the Hebrew Bible, Leviathan is depicted as a monstrous sea serpent, a creature of primordial chaos. The Book of Job describes it as a beast with impenetrable scales, eyes that glow like dawn, and breath that ignites flames. It is a creature of divine craftsmanship, a force that only God can subdue. Leviathan is not merely an animal, but a symbol of chaos tamed by order, a representation of the wild, untamed sea under the control of divine power. The biblical Leviathan is also featured in Psalms and Isaiah, where its defeat is a metaphor for God's dominance over chaos and evil. In Psalm 74, God is described as crushing the heads of Leviathan, feeding its remains to the creatures of the wilderness. This imagery is both violent and sacred, symbolizing a cosmic battle between order and disorder, between the divine and the chaotic forces of the deep. The sea, in ancient cultures, often represented the unknown, the boundaries of the world, and the threshold to the afterlife. To master Leviathan was to assert control over the deepest fears of humanity. However, the Leviathan of the Bible is not an isolated myth. Many cultures across history have tales of giant sea serpents and oceanic beasts. In ancient Mesopotamia, Tiamat, the primordial goddess of the salt sea, was depicted as a monstrous serpent or dragon. Much like Leviathan, Tiamat represented chaos and was defeated by the god Marduk, who split her body to create the heavens and the earth. This theme of chaos being subdued to form order is a motif that echoes across cultures and time, a reminder of the eternal struggle between creation and destruction. In Norse mythology, Jörmungandr, the world serpent, is another echo of Leviathan. The serpent, so large it encircles the entire world, is destined to battle Thor during Ragnarok, the end of the world. Like Leviathan, Jörmungandr is both a physical threat and a symbolic one, representing the danger that lies beneath the surface of existence, the unpredictable forces that could end everything we know. These connections show how the archetype of the sea serpent taps into a deep, universal anxiety, the fear of what lurks beneath, of what chaos the waters might conceal. While the Leviathan of Scripture is often a symbol of chaos defeated, later interpretations and adaptations would transform it into something more complex. In Christian demonology, Leviathan becomes one of the 7 princes of hell, representing the sin of envy. This shift from a symbol of natural chaos to a demon of human vice is a fascinating evolution, reflecting how myths adapt to cultural changes and theological needs. It also marks the beginning of Leviathan's journey from ancient myth to modern horror, a creature whose story would be retold and reshaped through centuries, each time revealing something new about the fears and hopes of the people who believed in it. As we delve deeper into the story of Leviathans, we will explore how this ancient sea monster influenced folklore, inspired fear, and became a symbol of the unknown depths, both of the ocean and of the human psyche. Stay with us as we continue this journey through myth and mystery, unraveling the legacy of these legendary beasts and what they represent in the shadowy corners of history and our imagination. As time went on, Leviathan evolved from a symbol of chaos into something far more personal and psychological. In medieval Christianity, Leviathan came to represent one of the 7 deadly sins, envy. This transformation of Leviathan from a sea serpent into a symbol of human vice is a testament to how myths adapt to reflect the anxieties of their time. The sea, once a metaphor for the untamed natural world, now became a mirror to the dark waters of the human soul. During the Middle Ages, Christian scholars like Thomas Aquinas wrote about Leviathan, associating it with the sin of envy. They saw this beast as a creature whose very presence sowed discord, whispering jealousy and malice into the hearts of humankind. This interpretation added a new layer to Leviathan's myth, no longer just a monstrous force of nature, but a manipulative spirit capable of influencing human behavior from the shadows. This evolution of Leviathan from a chaotic beast to a cunning demon also influenced art and literature. Depictions of Leviathan during this era often showed it as a dragon-like creature, serpentine and terrifying, but also with a sense of intelligence and malice. These images served as a reminder of the lurking dangers of unchecked desires and the darkness within. The medieval imagination turned Leviathan into a creature not just of the sea, but of the mind, a demon whispering temptations and feeding on human frailty. As the myth of Leviathan continued to evolve, its symbolism extended beyond biblical and mythological texts into the realms of literature and folklore. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, Leviathan's image as a monstrous sea serpent remained prominent, but new interpretations began to take shape. Sailors' tales from these eras often spoke of enormous sea creatures that could swallow ships whole, drawing from the ancient Leviathan myth and blending it with contemporary fears of the uncharted ocean. These stories, passed down through generations of sailors and explorers, painted the sea as a domain of hidden dangers. The Leviathan became a personification of the perils that awaited those who ventured too far from shore. With the expansion of naval exploration in the Age of Discovery, these tales grew more vivid and terrifying. Reports of giant squids and other mysterious sea creatures only added fuel to the fire, giving the Leviathan myth a new layer of realism. While many of these sightings were likely exaggerated or misunderstood, they reinforced the idea that the ocean harbored monstrous entities just beyond the horizon. One of the most influential works that cemented Leviathan's place in the collective consciousness was Thomas Hobbes's political treatise, Leviathan, published in 1651. In this work, Hobbes did not depict the creature as a sea monster, but instead used it as a metaphor for the power of the state. His Leviathan was a symbol of the social contract, a force that maintained order by wielding absolute authority. The image of the Leviathan on the book's cover, a giant figure composed of countless human bodies holding a sword and a crozier, symbolized the might of the state and the necessity of surrendering individual freedom for collective security. Hobbes's use of Leviathan as a metaphor for the state was a departure from its earlier representation as a chaotic force. Instead of a beast of destruction, Leviathan now represented control and order, albeit through dominance and submission. This reinterpretation highlights how myths can be reshaped to fit new narratives and ideologies. The Leviathan, once a terror of the seas, had become a symbol of civilization itself, showing how the line between chaos and order is often a matter of perspective. The Leviathan myth continued to influence literature and art into the modern era. In Herman Melville's Moby Dick, The titular white whale can be seen as a modern incarnation of the Leviathan myth. Like the ancient sea serpent, Moby Dick is a creature of the deep, embodying the unknown and the unknowable. Captain Ahab's obsession with the whale mirrors humanity's timeless struggle with forces beyond its control, a narrative thread that stretches back to the earliest Leviathan tales. Through Melville's novel, Leviathan's legacy as a symbol of humanity's confrontation with the vast and mysterious world around us was renewed for a new generation. The tale of Leviathan is not just about a sea monster, but about how humanity confronts the unknown. Whether as a symbol of chaos, a demon of envy, or a representation of state power, Leviathan has remained relevant by adapting to the fears and questions of each era. As we delve further into this story, we will explore how the Leviathan myth has not only survived, but thrived, evolving into modern depictions of horror and the monstrous unknown that still haunt us today. As the centuries progressed, Leviathan's myth continued to evolve, transitioning from religious and political symbolism into the realm of popular culture and modern horror. The image of a monstrous sea serpent lurking beneath the waves became a powerful metaphor for the unknown and the unknowable, an archetype that storytellers would continue to explore through new lenses of fear and fascination. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, with the rise of Gothic literature and the burgeoning genre of weird fiction, the Leviathan myth found a new home. Authors like H.P. Lovecraft drew heavily on the concept of ancient, unfathomable sea monsters. Lovecraft's Cthulhu, a massive tentacled being that sleeps beneath the ocean, is a direct descendant of the Leviathan archetype. Like Leviathan, Cthulhu represents chaos and the fragility of human understanding in the face of ancient cosmic forces. These stories tapped into a deep-rooted anxiety about the vastness of the universe and humanity's insignificance within it. Leviathan's influence also extended into folklore and local legends. Throughout maritime cultures, stories of massive sea creatures, whether they were krakens, sea serpents, or the Leviathan itself, were common. These tales often served as cautionary fables, warning of the dangers of hubris and the perilous nature of the sea. The Leviathan became a symbol of the unpredictable and often deadly power of nature, a reminder that the world beneath the waves was as mysterious as the cosmos above. In the 20th century, the Leviathan myth adapted once again, this time through the lens of science fiction and cinema. Films like Jaws, 1975, and deep-sea horror stories like The Abyss, 1989, echoed the ancient fears that Leviathan once embodied. In these modern tales, the ocean remained a place of mystery and danger, with Leviathan taking the form of sharks, alien creatures, or unseen horrors lurking in the deep. The shift to visual media allowed Leviathan's terror to be portrayed with new intensity, bringing to life the dread of what might emerge from the black depths of the ocean. Modern literature and media continue to explore the Leviathan myth, often as a stand-in for humanity's fears of the unknown. Whether it is in horror novels, video games, or blockbuster films, Leviathan's legacy endures. It is a testament to the power of myth and the universal fears that these stories tap into. The vastness of the sea, the unpredictability of nature, and the darkness within our own minds. As we move into the digital age, the myth of Leviathan has not only persisted, but has also been transformed by new media and technology. The internet has provided a fertile ground for myth-making, allowing the Leviathan to take on new shapes and forms within digital folklore, horror stories, and even video games. The ancient sea monster has evolved into a symbol of modern fears, those of technology, the deep web, and the unknown lurking behind our screens. One of the ways Leviathan manifests in modern digital culture is through internet horror phenomena like creepypastas and online urban legends. Stories of colossal creatures lurking in the ocean's depths or mysterious entities haunting digital spaces echo the ancient fear of Leviathan. The concept of a massive, unseen force that could rise from the depths, whether of the sea or the internet, remains a powerful source of anxiety. Leviathan has become a metaphor for the uncontrollable aspects of the digital world, such as viruses, data breaches, and the shadowy corners of the web where dangerous things may dwell. In the realm of video games, Leviathan has been reimagined in a variety of ways. Many games set in underwater or horror environments draw upon the imagery of Leviathan, creating monstrous creatures that players must face. Games like Subnautica, where the deep ocean is both a place of wonder and danger, evoke the same awe and fear that ancient sailors might have felt at the thought of Leviathans swimming beneath their ships. The creature's ability to inspire dread has been translated into interactive experiences, allowing players to confront their fears directly through the screen. Leviathan also continues to appear in contemporary literature and film, often as a symbol of hidden danger and the dark, uncharted territories of human experience. In some narratives, Leviathan embodies the fears associated with climate change and the mysteries of the deep sea. Documentaries about the deep ocean often reference ancient sea monsters, using Leviathan as a bridge between mythology and modern science. This blending of ancient myth and contemporary reality highlights how Leviathan still serves as a powerful tool for exploring our anxieties about the natural world. In an age where much of the planet has been mapped and explored, the deep ocean remains one of the last frontiers. It is estimated that more than 80% of the world's oceans remain unexplored, a statistic that continues to fuel stories of what might still dwell in the deep. Leviathan, as a symbol of the unknown, thrives in this space of mystery. Whether through traditional storytelling or modern digital media, the Leviathan myth adapts to new fears while maintaining its ancient roots as a creature of chaos and the deep. As we look to the future, it is clear that Leviathan will continue to inspire stories and stir imaginations. The sea monster that once haunted ancient texts now swims through our digital seas, proving that myths like the deep ocean hold mysteries that may never be fully uncovered. Join us in our final chapter as we explore the enduring legacy of Leviathan and how this ancient creature still captures our collective imagination today. As we reach the conclusion of our journey into the story of Leviathans, we see how this ancient myth continues to ripple through modern culture, embodying both timeless fears and contemporary anxieties. Leviathan has proven to be more than just a sea monster from ancient texts. It is a living symbol that adapts to the fears and hopes of each generation. In today's world, Leviathan is often used as a metaphor for the powerful and often invisible forces that shape our lives. Political theorists, for example, still reference Thomas Hobbes's use of Leviathan as a symbol of the state, representing how societal structures can both protect and consume us. This concept has expanded into discussions about corporate power, government surveillance, and the overwhelming influence of technology, suggesting that Leviathan is not merely a monster of the sea, but of society itself. The creature's dual nature, as both destroyer and protector, resonates in narratives about modern crises. Environmental documentaries and narratives about the deep sea often invoke Leviathan as a reminder of the fragile balance between humanity and nature. The image of a great beast beneath the waves serves as a stark metaphor for the consequences of disrupting ecological systems. It is a reminder that just as ancient sailors feared Leviathan, we too must respect the unknown forces of our planet. Leviathan also continues to inspire the horror genre, often representing the hidden terrors of the subconscious. Its portrayal in films, literature, and games taps into our fear of what lies beneath the surface, whether that surface is the ocean or the human mind. The creature's mythological origins allow storytellers to explore deep themes of chaos, control, and the thin line between reality and nightmare. Ultimately, Leviathan's enduring legacy lies in its ability to embody the mysteries of the unknown. Whether as a literal monster or as a symbolic force, Leviathan challenges us to confront the darkness beyond our understanding. The stories of Leviathan remind us that, while we may map the world and categorize its wonders, there will always be depths we cannot see and forces we cannot fully comprehend. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history, mythology, and the depths of human imagination. If you enjoyed uncovering the mysteries of Leviathan and exploring the hidden stories of our world, be sure to like and subscribe to Abyss Archives. Together, we will continue to dive into the dark waters of the unknown, shining a light on the stories that lie beneath the surface. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the shadows of history and myth.